Oh, hello, George. Thanks for knocking.
Jerry, I never knock.
So have noticed.
Forget all that. Listen, Jerry, I had to see you because I have this fantastic idea that's going to get us all rich.
Again?
This time it's foolproof, Jerry.
Okay, I know I'm gonna hate myself for this, but what is it?
Have you ever noticed how all sympathy cards are the same? I mean, our condolences, or thinking of you at this difficult time, that sort of schmaltz.
I don't know. Seems kind of appropriate to me.
Yeah, but it's so trite, Jerry. It's hack. I want to create a line of sympathy cards that are, get this, funny.
Like, ha-ha funny?
Yeah, it'll be different. We'll sell 1 million of them. Hey, there's just one thing.
Oh, brother. Here it comes.
Hear me out, Jerry. I need you to provide the funny.
You want me to write jokes for sympathy cards?
See, there you go, shooting me down again, just when I have a dream. Thanks a lot, Jerry.
Don't be thinking I'm uncooperative. I'm always willing to cooperate when it's a good plan. Your marketing department needs to cooperate too. Here's why.
Eric, what's your idea of an ideal marketing campaign that would drive a great deal of SEO benefit, and how would you structure that?
Well, such a campaign actually has many different components. The first of those is that you have to publish great content on your site. You want to be able to draw people into your site. So I'll talk more about what that is in a minute. And then you have to have selective strategies involving off-site publication of content or leveraging visibility on third-party sites. And then you need effective promotion, leveraging all this content that you're creating, including a tight collaboration between marketing and PR. And while you're doing all of this, you should really have a focus on reputation, visibility, and branding, not be wrapped around the axle thinking about SEO, because that impact will follow. But if you put the SEO goal first, then that's where it leads you into doing things that can be problematic.
Okay, so expand on what you mean by on-site content.
Well, first of all, obviously I mean publishing it on your own site.
Okay.
But the big key is figuring out how to gather the world's best content on a given topic and actually get that together for publication on your site. And essential to campaign success is just don't think about blasting out a ton of so-so content. Instead, focus on quality over quantity, though a certain amount of quantity is helpful in the whole process. There's lots of other sites that have gone down the path of publishing hundreds or thousands of pieces of content, which are so-so. And to be frank, that actually works to some degree today, but not so much the right thing for strategies going forward. And then you got to focus on being the absolute best on those topics. And that can seem daunting to you as you engage and think about how you might go about doing that, especially if you're entering an already crowded market. For example, if you're creating content in a market related to education, why don't we just think about that? Instead of covering all aspects of education, take on one very specific area and create the world's best content in that particular area. An example might be a comprehensive set of resources related to one career. Once you've succeeded at covering that one career really well and are seeing results there, you can begin working on the resources for the next career. But it's better to start by going deep and vertical rather than trying to be broad and cover everything. Problem is that the big boys publishing in the education arena, in my example, are already covering the broad extremely well, and they have more authority than you do. So here's an example of a site that I wanted to show you their traffic chart for. I have to keep it anonymous because of who they are, but what they've done is they actually have had great progress that they've gotten in their own SEO strategy by publishing just great content on site and in reasonably high volume. And you look at the curve. They actually launched their site in May 2016, and as of today, in May of 2018, their traffic growth is just fantastic.
Great. But how about promoting that on-site content?
Well, this is a huge area where so many businesses really don't execute that well. Once you've captured the concept that you're creating the world's best content in a particular segment of your market, you do need to actually let the world know about it. So think about this process as building relationships with the community interested in your topic area. It's not just blasting stuff out all over the place. And you taking a role of providing leadership in that community. This mentality will serve you really well. What can you do to get media people hungry to write about your content? By the way, that mentality should be fundamental to the whole way you structure your content plan, knowing that media people and influencers and folks like that, the ones that can help amplify your content, are really your target audience, right? And the relationships with that set of people. But also seek to actively contribute to the visibility of others. Nobody likes someone who's just promoting themselves all the time. Even if they're publishing great content, it still seems kind of selfish. So you don't want to just expect that they're going to share your stuff and you don't end up sharing any of theirs. So this is incredibly important. And the other thing you really need to do is have tight integration between your marketing and PR and collaboration with those teams, because they can really help amplify what you're doing.
Okay, so for off-site publishing, are you talking about guest posting?
Well, these can be a part of a campaign if done selectively. But remember to focus on something like this from a marketing perspective, targeting the right sites where your audience is driving branding benefits and things of that sort. If you do that, then yes, guest posting can be part of your strategy. And of course, if you've published a really high quality piece of content on a very authoritative, well-visited site in your market niche, then getting a link back from those is actually fair. I mean, it's really just sort of attribution for your contribution to their site. But definitely stay away from the high volume, rich anchor text stuff. But having talked about guest posting, you should also think about other off-site strategies, such as getting team members from your business interviewed by third parties. So that's an example of something that can work really well too.
Well, we publish a lot of deep research studies. Do you recommend that as part of the mix?
Yes, it's actually a great way to go with your strategy. But there's some key points about that you need to have in mind if you're going to go down the path of publishing research studies. First of all, make sure that these are unique, right? Publishing the latest study in something that somebody else already wrote about is not really going to do that well. You also have to make sure the topic area is something where, well, the conclusions are interesting and the audience is interested in the overall topic area. And then from a data collection perspective, you have to do that in an unimpeachable way. And that means ignoring whatever bias you have about what conclusion you expect. Let the data tell the story is what I like to say about that. So what you thought the conclusions were going to be when you started actually don't matter. The data tells you what the conclusions are. And of course, as I talked about before, combine this with interesting promotion.
Well, thanks, Eric. Hey, now let's find out if George has sold his big idea to Jerry.
Jerry! George! Am I here in time?
In time for what, Kramer?
Well, the writing session, of course.
What are you talking about?
Jerry, I invited Kramer in to be on the writing team for our new line of humorous sympathy cards.
What team? There is no team. I never agreed to this.
Oh, but you haven't heard my ideas. I've once created one that's like something that goes in something.
Go ahead, Kramer. Let's hear what you've got. Jerry, be prepared to be dazzled.
Okay, here it goes. Sorry to hear for your loss, but not as sorry as you'll be once you hear you're out of the will.
What? That's terrible.
No worries, I've got one better. Here it comes. Hope you feel better, or at least get better at something.
Out! Out! Out!